Hi everyone, my name is Christopher Connor and I'm here at Station 12 in Lake Manola, Pennsylvania to demonstrate the inspection of a self-contained breathing apparatus, or SCBA for short. Now those who are watching who are involved in the fire service will know the importance of this inspection, but for those of you who don't, it is part of our personal protective envelope, or PPE, which that is our turnout gear and our helmet and this air pack. And what that does is protects us from the extreme heat and oxygen deficient atmosphere that is present within structure fires. And a chief of mine has drilled it into my head that the PPE is the first and last line of defense in firefighting. So it's a very important part of our training to know how to look over these air packs and know how to use them, what is supposed to be there, what's not supposed to be there, and so that we're ready when the bell goes off to use them and use them to survive in a extremely dangerous and harmful environment. So let's get into it. So to begin the inspection, I like to start in one area and work through in a pattern that I normally do. It just allows me to make fewer mistakes, and that's pretty much how it works. And so I usually start with the mask. Now this is the most prone to failure piece of this breathing apparatus, because it's very difficult to make something that's clear and easy to see through, and yet fireproof. So what you want to look for is any cracks, scratches in the clear part of the mask and the frame around it. You want to look for what's called crazing, which is it's like a spider web, and that's a sign that this mask has been exposed to extreme heat, and that you have to get rid of that. It's out of service at that point. You also want to check the mesh that holds the mask to your head. The last person who used this didn't stretch out the straps all the way, so you have to make sure that all the straps are loose so that anyone can throw it on, not just the people with the small heads. And you also have to make sure that they're elastic, because these are elastic straps. And as you can see, they have a little bit of bounce to them. If they don't have bounce to them, well, they're not really much good. You have to check the rubber seal, make sure that there's no damage, no dry rot, and look inside, make sure they're not moldy. Check the seal. This is where the regulator, which is this piece right here, attaches. Gonna visually inspect that. But I'm actually going to save that for a little bit later. Now what I like to do is disassemble the bottle from the backpack, the cylinder, and go over the cylinder and make sure that that's not damaged, because that way, just part of the system. So what I'm looking here, I'm looking and feeling at the same time, so any cracks or scratches, because this is a composite cylinder, so any kind of dents or nicks are going to cause a problem. I'm also checking what's called a hydrostatic test date, and what that means is the last time it was inspected and tested for its pressure rating. These types of cylinders, you have to check them every year. Every 5 years they have to be tested. So this one was last inspected or tested in 2014, so it's due in 2019. There's nothing of issue on this cylinder. Checking the threads here where it connects to the system, to the bottle. Checking the air pressure. It should be between 4,000 and 4,500 psi. That's the standard pressure for these bottles. Anything less than that, and you're not going to get the amount of time that you normally would out of the air pack. So next, what I'm going to do is just kind of set this over here and give the backpack assembly a quick look While it's all exposed, check the metal plates. Make sure the straps are all the way out, just like on the mask, for the same reason, so that the big guys and little guys can all fit into it. Let's see, what else? I'm checking on here. This is where the bottle connects to the system. There's a O-ring here, and that's essential, obviously, because you're going to have a leak if it's not present. So everything looks good. There's no missing rivets, no heat damage that I can see. Everything's connected that it should be. And now I'm going to reattach the bottle and inspect the system while it's pressurized. And the reason that I do that is because you need to pressurize the system to check for leaks in the hoses, and to make sure all the electronics work, and just to make sure that it's going to perform as it should in an emergency. So there's a clip here that holds it in, there's a strap here that holds it so it's not flopping around on your back, and then you screw that on, and this is where the air comes out. So now I'm going to open it up. So now it's on. That's called the ding up, and you want this all the way open. It's just all the way open or all the way closed. That's how a lot of things are in the fire service. So first what I'm going to do is start where the bottle connects, and I'm going to feel around it, feel all the hoses, make sure that there's no leaks or cuts or anything like that. This is the RIT connection, which if somebody's low on air, they're hurt or something like that, we have what's called a RIT pack, which is just a large cylinder, and it has a connection that can go right into there and add on to somebody's air if they need it. Continuing to check the hoses, checking the high pressure regulator for any leaks, pushing the strap or the hose through so that I can inspect all of it, because some of it's hidden by the backpack straps. Checking these hoses here and doing the same thing. And those beeps that you just heard are part of the pass device. And what that is if the backpack is not moving for a certain amount of time, that starts to go off. So if somebody's hurt or down, they can't call for help, the pass device does that for you. So it has, you get it reset by moving it. And also checked all the hoses. Now this is the regulator, and I'm not sure if you can see, but there's lights on the regulator. That's part of the heads-up display, and that tells you while you have the mask to your face how much air you have. And you have to make sure that it matches up with what's on the meter on your chest, and it does. And you also have to match up the meter with what's on the bottle. They have to be within 100 psi of each other. So I'm going to activate the pass alarm, and you're going to hear how loud it is. It's meant to get everybody's attention. So here you go. It's pretty piercing, so you don't want to set it off by accident. It gets a lot of people angry because it kind of numbs people to an actual emergency. Okay, so now I'm going to just make sure that the regulator connects to the mask. That works. I'm going to shut off the cylinder so that all the air that's in the system's isolated from the cylinder now, so I'm not going to bleed air, because another part of the test or the inspection is to make sure that this regulator functions properly. Right now there's no air passing through. If I wanted air to pass through, I would connect it to the mask, put it on my face, and take a deep breath, because it's activated by pressure difference. So, but if I do want to flow air indiscriminately, I move this bypass valve. This is called a purge valve. And I'm going to bleed the air out while watching this meter and match it up to the heads-up display. You can hear the air coming out. Soon you'll hear what's called a quarter service alarm. And that's when it tells you, hey, you're almost out of air, it's time to get out. So it should be going off. There it is, that's the quarter service. And now I'm out of air. So now I turn the system off. So now the pass device is not going to go off while it's sitting here. System's completely off, and the inspection is complete.